So what you're looking at is black Angus striploin. Each piece is around 450 grams, so it's just under a kg of meat here. Definitely the biggest cut of meat that either of us have ever bought or even eaten. So it's going to be a great test for our sous vide. We are looking at this meat in terms of the thickness that we asked for specifically, that they cut at the butcher for us, and we also chose this cut because it has a great amount of well balanced fat, which I love, and the marbling, which will hopefully add that additional moisture and juiciness to it. Neither of us are meat experts, but we really thought that this would be a great test for us this evening as we celebrate the election results. So we're flipping our black Angus striploin steaks so that we can season them on the other side. We are both amateurs in this field of sous vide meat cooking, so we work in a pretty tight space here in our little kitchen. We're using seasoning that we just have available really, that we would use daily, but we're keeping it pretty simple with some coarse Himalaya salt that we've already ground, and we're going to top up with garlic powder, olive oil, and some coarse black pepper. And that's really as much of the seasoning that we will use, because the meat itself is the treat and we want to really enjoy the flavor of the meat.
Kami menggunakan garam yang telah di pre-grind, garam kasar yang telah di pre-grind, dan sekarang ni kami menggunakan serbuk bawang putih dan juga serbuk lada hitam ke atas steak kami. Untuk makluman semua, ini adalah potongan steak striploin, black Angus striploin, dan kami potong satu potongan dengan berat 400 gram, 420 gram satu blok ni, kerana kami suka makan steak yang tebal-tebal. We are meat eaters. Ini sekarang kami menggunakan sedikit minyak olive ataupun minyak zaitun.
And just rubbing it in, but what we also forgot to mention is today is the general election 15 in Malaysia, so we are going to be staying up to see the election results. So we thought in the celebration of this day, we're going to treat ourselves to this delicious steak, and also keep us busy while we're waiting to hear election results.
Okay. Look at the thickness.
The thickness, I think, is going to make a huge difference compared to the other cuts we've
Berat
tried.
satu ni 400 gram lebih sedikit. Black Angus striploin.
We are vacuum sealing the second piece of our black Angus. We were worried that we didn't have the right size vacuum seal bag, but alhamdulillah we did, so we're all good to go. This is the fun part. You get to play with gadgets, and it's really important in the sous vide process to do this. From what we understand, you've got to get the air out, you've got to keep the moisture out, and it just ensures that the meat cooks really well. So we've just got the green light from our sous vide machine. We're going 56 degrees for 2 hours to get a perfect medium cook on this black Angus steak. And yeah, it's still a little bit of a mystery how this all works to me, to be quite honest, but it does, and it is going to be delicious. Hopefully you can get a sense of the thickness of these cuts. It's around, I'd say, 3.5 cm in width, and you can see all that delicious seasoning. So there you have it, 56 degrees centigrade at 2 hours. What do you want? So the moment of truth, the delicious steaks are coming out the vacuum sealed bag. Once again, we had it at 56 degrees for 2 hours. Part of me is a little skeptical that this big hunk of meat is going to be cooked, but it looks perfect. And
We need to pat it down.
so what we've learned from watching YouTube is that you want as little moisture as possible, because when you put it in the pan to sear it, you want it to be dry so it doesn't splatter, and you don't waste time, let's say, frying off that water. You sear the meat immediately. And
Look at that. Ooh.
yeah, right. So that's my husband's horror story moment. This evening we're assisted by Bobby, who is also a steak lover, and it's going to be interesting trying to do this with him in the kitchen. So we might have to come back in a moment because somebody's going to have to be relocated. So that is a big block of butter we've got melting in the pan because we're about to pan sear these two delicious pieces of meat. So the pan sear should be really fast. So we want to hear that sizzle. So we're just turning up the heat a bit. And let's see how it goes. We'll be back. Okay, so we're improvising now because these are big pieces of meat, but we need to get the side pan seared a bit and get that fat crispy and
I'm rendering the fat.
delicious. And then I would lift it up to get that piece of fat on the end, that big piece of fat. Yeah. Very good. Very good. And then flip. Whoa, look at that.
Look at the crust. Oh,
So
it
once
smells
again,
so good.
It's just
Smell of melting
decadent
butter.
with butter in the pan. From the frying pan to our bellies.
Alhamdulillah.
Whoa, look at that. Muscle chef over here is working his magic in the frying pan, and we're about to take this one out. I'm just gonna.
Look at this.
Whoa! Black Angus, here we come. We've also been told you need to rest the meat for a little bit, so we're going to do that. And for some final words.
I love my protein, man. Those are gonna go in here. And I voted today.
So here it is, finally on the plate, and we're about to dig in and listen to what's happening with the election in the background. Yep. So what we enjoy is some hot English mustard, keeping it simple to enjoy with the steak, and then these are just some homemade sweet potato salad and tomatoes and rocket or arugula, but keeping it really simple and fresh because the focus really is this delicious piece of black Angus strip loin. The moment of truth. Is it medium? Whoa,
Wow.
look at that, that's perfect.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wow, so tender and buttery. I'm loving this.